All right, Padres get the win over the Marlins. Another comeback victory. Again, it's one of those things where when this Padres team gets down, and maybe it's because of last year, maybe it's because we just live our lives as Padres fans, and the Padres have never won a World Series. They haven't gotten to a World Series since before I was born. So we're just conditioned to be like, well, we're down 7-3. All right, game's over. That's just one of those days. It was happening the other night when the Padres were down 2-0. And I know the offense wasn't doing a whole lot, but this team is different. They have, I think, 30 comeback victories now this season. And now this is back-to-back days with that comeback victory. It feels like they're coming back in every game on the road trip. Right now, this Padres team, they've already made franchise history after today. 16 wins in their last 18 games. It's incredible. When this team gets down, don't stop believing in this team. Even if a game looks ugly and things aren't going the right way, that doesn't mean you stop believing in the team, because all it takes is an inning where you get a couple of guys on base and now you start believing. This team has guys in the lineup that don't give up. It's not like last year where you had guys admitting to giving up when things got tough, when they got down in games. That's not what is happening. And so shout out to guys like Johnny Brito, who when the Padres got down, they got some innings out of him, got some innings out of other relievers in this game. The homer that Jake Berger hit to tie it up late, I don't even know how he hits a homer on that pitch. I mean, if you didn't look after the center field camera angle shot and you just saw the contact, you would think that was probably maybe a single that bloops in down the right field line maybe. No, he hit that ball out. So there's some things like that Waldron, the homer that he gave up, or one of the homers he gave up, pitch up and out. Maybe it wasn't the best pitch, but it wasn't the worst pitch either. Sometimes hitters get to balls, and you got to give props to those guys. Waldron, I saw some questions on social media about, like, how concerned are you, shaky, all that. It's kind of like Michael King. I think I said this about Michael King. I'm not going to panic over a couple of starts, a start. I'm going to look at the full body of work, the consistency that these guys in the rotation have had, and I'm going to stick with that. Now, if we start to see consistent outings of Waldron struggling and he not being able to get through 6 innings, okay, then we can have a different conversation, but I'm not at that point right now. Obviously, it's another big Jackson Merrill game. Huge. How many times is he going to hit the game-tying home run down by 2 runs on this just one road trip? I know there's one more game left, but it's nuts. He has, 4 home runs to tie it or take the lead, I think, post All-Star break already, so that's another record. This guy is special. Obviously, Padres fans were pushing for him to win Rookie of the Year. I would love that, but even if he doesn't, yeah, we're going to be pissed off, but again, I care about this team making the postseason, and so all I can say is he is helping this team make the postseason. He is one of the biggest players on this team, one of the most important players on this team, and I am happy that he is a Padre. I saw the Talking Baseball account tweet out something like, would you rather start your team, build your team around Jackson Holiday or Jackson Merrill? Which Jackson? It's like, that's the easy, maybe I'm biased because I'm a Padre fan, but that's the easiest question for me right now. Jackson Holiday, he does not have the sample size. Sure, there's the hype around him, but look at what Jackson Merrill is doing right now. How clutch he is. All he cares about is winning. I don't know as much about Jackson Holiday as I do about Jackson Merrill, obviously. But even if Jackson Holiday has all those qualities about, like, all he cares about is winning, and he has talent and all that, Jackson Merrill, he just has the bigger sample size. He is proving it. And he is a complete player. He can play the infield. He can play the outfield. We know that because he played the infield all, growing up and in the minors. And we know he can play the outfield because we're seeing what he's doing in center field. So obviously I'm all on Team Merrill. You can get your Merrill shirts, by the way, Breaking Tea. Click that link in the description. You'll see all that info. And by the way, the Merrill Madness shirts, part of those proceeds will be donated to the Merrill Madness charity. So feel free to support Jackson Merrill, the Padres, and you get to support the foundation at the same time by buying one of those, the Merrill Madness shirt that was just released less than a week ago. But he has obviously showed up big. And then Manny Machado, he is another one that has been so huge for this Padres team lately. Today, what was big, I know he drove and run, but what was big was him being at third base, and there was the grounder in the 10th inning, and he ties the game, or excuse me, he keeps the game from being tied, throwing out the runner at home. He made a play earlier in the game that I don't think is going to get talked about because he makes it look routine, and it did look like a routine play. You know, chopper comes in, quick transition, throw it over to first, get the runner by half a step. But I don't know how many first basemen would have been able to do that when that runner was zooming down the line. So Manny continues to show off not show off, but just show us his talents defensively, and he continues to be clutch. And not every clutch situation we think of as clutch in that moment, but we can look back at it as being clutch, because look at how the Padres won this game. If Manny doesn't come through earlier in the game, where are the Padres at? What's the situation, right? Instead of a 4-run deficit, is it a 5-run deficit? You know, it could be different. Maybe Mike Schopp makes different decisions pitching-wise. You never know. Maybe the Marlins make different decisions pitching-wise and with their positioning and all that. So, huge. Luis Arraez, was it earlier? Yeah, earlier today. It's been a long day, sorry. Earlier today, when I was talking about Arraez and if he should go on the IL, part of it, for me, why the answer is no, is because he has that impact. Regardless of if he's getting a hit or not, we saw that today. Tyler Wade, props to him, by the way, scoring on contact there late in this game to give the Padres the lead. But him grounding out there in that situation, it's an impactful out. You know, I will take it every time. I know there's the double play, right, where you ground into a double play instead of striking out. You'd rather strike out because it's not 2 outs. But other than that, really, I mean, you put the ball in play, that's obviously better than striking out. And that's what Luis Arraez is elite at. The average, yeah, it's not as great since he had that injury late in June. He's been playing through that for a while now. But there's a lot of guys that would like to hit almost 280, which is what he's at since that injury. There's a lot of guys that would like to put the ball in play as much as Luis Arraez does. So, again, just summing it up, as Jackson Merrill has said, a great baseball game, a fun baseball game, a comeback. Yeah, at points, it's like, okay, this isn't looking great, but we got to remember the identity of this team, who this team is, who Jackson Merrill is, who Luis Arraez is, who these other core guys, these important guys on this team, who these guys are. They're fighters. They're not going to give up. They play like it's not down 7-3. They play like it's 0-0, it feels like, every inning. Regardless of what the score is, they're going to fight. And I'm in love with this team. I don't know how Padres fans don't like this team. 16-2 in their last 18 games. Paul Skeens on the mound for the Pirates tonight. Hopefully he can shove against the Dodgers and the Padres can get even closer in that divisional race. But yeah, fun. Another fun day. Taking advantage of bad teams. It's a welcoming sight for sure.